A role model. I have a very interesting role model to share with you today, to tell you about today. Her name is Dora Akunyili. Have you heard of Dora Akunyili before?
No, but I've heard of Dora the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer is a cartoon. This one is a one-time public servant and very celebrated public figure in Nigeria, Professor Dora Akunyili, of blessed memory. She passed on a few years ago. Professor Dora Akunyili was born in Makurdi, Benue State, Nigeria, but grew up in Anambra, right? She did very well in school, got many scholarships, and at some point she became appointed in the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, right, where she became a lecturer, then she became a professor, and she was a professor of pharmacology. While she was growing up, her younger sister fell ill once, and they tried everything. They took her to the hospital, the doctors diagnosed, and they were giving her medication, but nothing worked. They discovered later that what they were giving her was fake drugs. They were buying fake drugs and they did not know. The market was filled with what? Fake drugs. That was what inspired her. She started studying pharmacy and became a professor of pharmacology. And at some point, the president of Nigeria then appointed her to become the Director General of the National Food and Drugs Agency of Nigeria, NAFDAC. And that was when Professor Dora Akunyili began to wage a fierce war and campaign against the manufacturers and importers of fake and counterfeit drugs in Nigeria. At the time, over 70% of the drugs being sold in Nigeria were fake. Fake! Which means that even people that were going to the doctor and doing all the right things, the minute you were buying drugs, because you don't know, you will be taking the drugs and it's simply not working. People were dying of malaria, preventable deaths, illnesses that could be treated. People were dying from them. Why? Because some evil human beings were making fake drugs or bringing in fake drugs and selling to unsuspecting innocent consumers and members of the public. Professor Dora Akunyili decided that she would fight against them. During her appointment, she began to carry out raids. They began to secretly discover and investigate and find out some of those illegal production facilities where fake drugs were being manufactured. And she would raid them, confiscate, and burn down all their production, burn down all the drugs that they were making. And that was how Professor Akunyili began to destroy the activities and counter the activities of fake drugs importers and fake drug manufacturers in Nigeria. But they were angry. Because do you know the amount of profit they were making from these fake drugs? Billions in Naira. So they started sending her assassination threats. They started threatening to kill her members of her family, her spouse and her children. At some point her husband told her, resign from this job. It is too dangerous. All our lives are at risk because of this job. The president had to call her husband to please support your wife. What she is doing is for the good of the public. What she is doing is saving this nation. And so he piped down and just determined that he would help her and keep praying. At one point, Professor Dora Akunyili was traveling from one state to another state, and assassins shot a bullet into her car. They waylaid her car and shot a bullet, but God delivered her. The bullet pierced through her gele, narrowly missing her head. And she survived that yes, thank God, she survived that assassination attempt. By the time she was finishing her tenure, Professor Dora Akunyili had reduced the number of fake drugs circulating in Nigeria from that 70% that we're talking about to less than 16%. Less than 16% of drugs circulating in Nigeria were fake because of the courage, the integrity, the bravery, and the commitment and patriotism of Dora Akunyili. She is celebrated and forever regarded in Nigeria for her sacrifice and her contribution to the war against fake drugs in Nigeria. Eventually, she fell ill with cancer and she died. But before she died, she left a legacy that teaches every Nigerian that with courage, you can fight evildoers. With intelligence, you can have a smart strategy. And with faith in God, you can enjoy divine benevolence and grace to protect you from the wickedness of these individuals. It's a great story. We are sad that we lost her, but she has a permanent place, a permanent position in history, in the life and chapter of our great nation, Nigeria. Never forget her. Her name was Dora Akunyili, the former Director General of NAFDAC, the woman who fought and countered manufacturers and importers of fake and counterfeit drugs in Nigeria, saving millions of lives. Did you enjoy that story?
Yes.